Hi, welcome to Street Priest Ministries. I'm your host, Brother Jay, as we're taking the Gospels back to the streets. Today's drive-through message is Unseen Captive. Today we're going to cover God's unseen army that's around us. Now, I've taught on angels. You can get the teaching, look it up. The angel, one video is the angel of the Lord encampeth, and another one I taught on Michael the Archangel. I mean, I think I done taught an angel at least 2 or 3 times. This, as usual, Diamond has many facets. We come to different facets of God's angels today. Unseen captain. And this message here is for the nation. And I'm going to use Joshua as our kaleidoscope for the message today. Turn to Joshua 5:13. We can go to Joshua 5:13. Now, Brother Jay is the type of person that, by nature, I'm a logical thinking person, rational. Faith really comes hard for my type. Because I like to reason things away. And I done had a whole lot of supernatural experiences. I mean, I done shared, if you to follow the teaching, I done shared some of them with you. Some supernatural encounters and things like that. I done definitely shared my hell experience several times. And the seeing of supernatural beings I done shared. But still, there's that part of me that, just tries to, did you really see that? That argues with the other side of myself. And the other side says, yes, you saw what he saw. So it's like I'm divided here. Got a schizo in his schizo when it comes to, to the supernatural. But yes, it's real. It's a real world. It's more real. And I've, over the years, become solid in that. Supernatural means more natural. Supernatural world is more real than our so-called reality. Because we're sandwiched between God, the Lord of hosts, and the devil. And this is battlefield earth. And here is boot camp, where you're going to get it together for eternity. Either the inner heaven's gates is be in heaven with God, or the inner hell's gates be with your Father below, Satan. But that's who your God will be. And there's no middle ground. Well, Brother Jay, peace. I don't want no sides. I don't want to choose a God. I just want to be happy and live. No. Not choose, is to choose Satan. Choose the devil. That's where you're going to be with. There's no neutral in this war. You're on one side or the other. Because you refuse to pick a side, the side's already picked for you. You'll be with him. There's no middle ground. Jesus made that quite clear. He said there's no warm in the kingdom. You're either hot for God or you cold for the devil. He said, I'll vomit you out of my mouth. There's no neutral. There's no lukewarm Christians. I say that probably describes 80% of the church world. They're not on the battlefield. They don't realize there's a war going on. They're doing the same business as the world does on the other side of the street. They're just fooling and deceiving themselves. So we're going to read some examples of some people that realize the scales will pull off their eyes that this is battlefield earth. This is a war. And there's an unseen army on both sides, battling every single day for the hearts of men, for the souls of men. We're like pawns on one big chessboard between Satan and God, and between God and Satan. And I've described your free will to you time and time again. Because in the next life, there's no free will. There's no free will in hell. There's no free will in heaven. Forever, Lord, thy word is settled in heaven. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. His will is done in heaven. And in hell, God created hell. That's still his will. That's God's prison. He's just a warden. God's the warden of the prison. It's still his will. He designs the type of torture that you deserve. Everything, it's all his laws. You know, if you're a thief, you'll be in a section of hell with the thieves, roasting with them. Whatever sin that overtook, adultery, you'll be with that bunch. If you were greedy for gain, money was your God, you'll be with that bunch. And you'll be tortured accordingly throughout eternity. No breaks, 24/7. Trust me, been there, done seen. I know what's coming to you. So I've been ringing the bell for years, trying to wake people up. It's a reality you really don't want to experience. You really don't want to experience. You ain't ready for it. Think you are. I don't care how bad you think you are. You're the toughest dude on the planet. You ain't no match for them demons down there. The weakest one to take you on, not to take you out. They got some real mean demons down there. And they love to torture. They hate our flesh. They hate human kind. That's why it's hell. It's hell. They ain't gonna make it hell for you. That's why I laugh at these fools that serve the devil. The devil hates your guts. You're a putrid, abominable, beastly flesh and a mix of celestial fire. Can't stand you. The devil hates your guts. Can't wait to get you down there to torture. You ain't gonna share in his kingdom. I don't care what he's a deceiver, what he promised you. That's clearly, that message is clearly given in Isaiah 14 and in Ezekiel 28. How he deceived the rich and famous and powerful and talented down here to work for him. And he's just as helpless as they are. He's going to have to face his punishment too. But God's going to beat out. God's the boss. He's the big G. God's the kingpin. He's the head honcho. God's the boss. The big boss. And Satan answers to him. But he gave Satan a little time to do his thing. He wanted to play God. And all those that follow him, there's no neutral. And that's what we're reading about here. This is spiritual warfare going on. And this message hopefully wakes you up to it. To where you are conscious of it every day. If you're calling yourself a Christian especially. Really talking to you. Now, Joshua 5:13. Let's read what that says. And it came to pass, when Joshua was by Jericho, that he lifted up his eyes and looked. Always pay attention when the Bible says lifted up his eyes. See, we have inside of us a soul, a spirit man. God breathed into the nostrils the Rosh in Hebrew. Man became a living soul. There's an inner man in here. And when this is a shell, that's all this body is a shell. And when we step out of this body, which I have, I've seen my own body outside my body. But when you step out of this body, you realize this. So when it says eyes, you got spiritual eyes and spiritual ears. That's what Jesus kept saying. He wasn't talking about the natural eyes when he was talking to the Pharisees. He's talking about your eyes are dull, your ears. He wasn't talking about these natural. He was talking about their soul, their spirit. You have a spirit man. with eyes and ears that functions in that ethereal world. And if anything, the senses of much more height. Once you get out of this body, your senses 1,000 times more sensitive. Your eyes, ears, everything. Your movement, your motion. You're not bound by gravity, the laws of gravity. And it came to pass, Joshua 5:13. And it came to pass, when Joshua was by Jericho, that he lifted up his eyes, his spiritual eyes, and looked. And behold, there stood a man over against him, with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, Art thou for us, or for our adversaries? He's talking to him like he's a natural man. And he said, Nay, but as a captain of the host of the Lord, I am now come. Now the captain of the Lord of hosts is none other than Michael himself, Michael the archangel. I taught on him. You get that teacher. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth, and did worship, and said unto him, What saith my Lord unto his servant? And the captain of the Lord's host said unto Joshua, Loose thy shoes from off thy foot, for the place wherein thou standest is holy. And Joshua did so. Now Joshua's preparing, leading the children of Israel into war. And God showed him, I got my captain of the host, Michael, the prince of princes of angels, the one that's going to bind Satan with chains and throw him into the abyss. I got him to fight with you, fight for you, fight ahead of you, going ahead of you. The Bible said the angel of the Lord encamped around about them that fear. While I sleep, I got angels around protect. I'm aware of that. I am so conscious of that now. Protecting me, especially in your sleep. And it's not from man that they protect you. It's from demonic beings. It's a spiritual battle. Spiritual, that's what I told you, this is a battlefield. Most Christians are unconscious to that this is spiritual warfare. They done turned to Christianity into something totally, radically different than what God intended. Daycare center, convalescent home, mortuary, anything but what Christ intended. For us to be warriors on the battlefield, soldiers, men and women. God don't discriminate, I definitely don't. Men and women soldiers. Now, go to 2 Kings. We just read about Joshua. Had his eyes open and realized that the Lord of hosts, Jehovah Sabaoth, God of all, God of everything, over everything, was going to fight his battle before him. 2 Kings 6:17. Now this nation right now is in a spiritual battle for its life. Sorcery and witchcraft, and I think Hollywood and sewer pipe pumping it out, have so captured this nation and the youth especially. But there's a revival going on among the youth, and that's going on outside the church. I see it and feel it. It's going on outside the church. God is raising up an army. His army. That's growing to appreciate his word, and they're seekers of truth. They're not lovers of the pleasure of this life, and what Hollywood then pumped up. That the artists and sold their soul to the devil for it, just for temporary pleasure in this one. Temporary riches. There's a movement going on. This message is for the youth that watch Street Preach Ministry. To inspire you to realize that you're being drafted. I don't believe in accidents. Everybody watching Brother Jay's Street Priest is called. I believe you called. And this message is targeted for you, the young, the youth, specifically. To realize that there's an unseen army. There's forces at work, forces of darkness and forces of light. Battling for your soul. You have free will to choose. The only thing you have is free will in this life. You know, free will in the next one. In this life, you have free will. And I equivocated free will to like you, picture you in a life raft, one of those blow up rafts, boats, whatever you want to call it. And you on the rapids. And you going, there's a waterfall coming up. So many thousand feet away, but you're moving fast. And you got a pedal where you can take yourself to the left or to the right. You're still going off the waterfall, but that's your free will. You can go a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, but you're still going to die going over the waterfall. Well, it's the same way with your so-called free will. You can turn your back on God, but you're going to hell, and that's the second death, the Bible calls it. The spiritual man told you got a soul that has to spend eternity somewhere in heaven or hell. One of the two. No other options. But that's your free will. Now Jesus throws you a rope and pulls you out of the rapids on the dry land. And he saves you through his supernatural deliverance. That's you coming to Christ, confessing your sinner, and turning away from him, coming to him. God puts his spirit in you to help to deliver you from the power of sin. But you belong to Christ. You serve him. It's two masters. The Bible is very clear with the word master, and very clear with the word slave. Doulos is what it is. King James was trying to be fancy. They were sensitive to slavery, so they used the word servant. The word is doulos, is slave. Slave to sin, or you're and the devil, or you're a slave to God in Christ, and doing and obedient to his will. Do one or the other. There's no middle ground. Now here's somebody else, another young. Now this is a young man in training by the prophet Elisha. So 2 Kings 6:17. And Elisha prayed and said, Lord, because the man was panicking. He was looking at the natural. He's seen all the enemies surrounding Israel. So Elisha wanted to show him something. And Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes. Now, what eyes you think he's talking about? He's already looking. So it ain't the natural eyes, because he don't see anything. All he sees is the enemy outnumbered. He's thinking we're going to be slaughtered. And Elijah prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Lord opened his eyes of the young man. See, he's a young man, young generation. That's who I'm talking to. I'm praying God opens your eyes. You young men and women out there. And wake you up and take this nation back from the devil that had this nation bound from sorcery, witchcraft, and every other kind of evil under the sun, SRA, all that. Take this nation back. Abortion, all that. Take this nation back. Sacrificing the bear, every which way you can imagine. But take this nation back. You young men and women. And Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes, that he may see, his spiritual eyes. And the Lord opened his eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. God's army. Horses of fire and chariots of fire with angels all around. You got angels with flaming swords, all flaming spears. And when they came down to him, Elijah prayed unto the Lord, smite this people, I pray thee with blindness. And he smote them with blindness according to the word of Elisha. And Elisha said unto them, this is not the way, neither is this city. Follow me, and I will bring you to the man whom ye see. But he led them to Samaria. Now, I just wanted to read that part with the angels. And you can read the rest of the story for yourself. The man of God prayed that he opened that young man's eyes to see the invisible army that's around him. And see, this new generation, we done seen what the Barnum and Bailey generation and Big Tent Circus act. There's no threat to the devil whatsoever. This new generation, I pray, that God raised up, know who the enemy is. And learn spiritual warfare and how to fight them. And become black belts in spiritual combat. Brother Jay has had enough, believe me, most of my Christian walk enough with the Christian pansies. Pansies for Christ. And it's on the youth to change things. Just like this young man, open his eyes and realize that God's army was all around. I want you to realize it. Learn to be a soldier, men and women, for Christ, a real true soldier. Learn who the enemy is, how to fight the enemy. His modus operandi, MO, how to fight. Learn how to give God's way and not be a stingy grunt. That's part of being blessed on the battlefield or being cursed on the battlefield. How far do you think you're going to get? So learn to give properly so you be blessed on the battlefield. And be a productive Christian for Christ, not a CIN, Christian in name only. Too much of that in a hodgepodge of religion today. Christianity, so-called Christianity. It said in Acts that the church world in Acts turned the world upside down. A handful of people turned the whole world upside down. And I'm praying you young men and women turn the world upside down. This is a worldwide ministry. I have people contact me from Europe, Germany, Middle East, Afghanistan. I've been contacted from everywhere. They've been all over the Middle East, all over Africa. Young people, this message is for you all around the world, and specifically in the United States. Because as so go to the United States, so go the world. See what happened. The world was burning in the United States before God raised up a man, Trump, to take this nation back from the evil dark forces to be. See what happened to the world. This nation's the apple of God's eye, as well as Israel. So you young men and women everywhere, wherever you listen to this message for you, targeted. It's a rifle shot. Targeted just for you, rifle shot message for you. All right, got one more verse we'll look at. It's the inspirational message. Sergeant Salt, inspirational message. To get you moving, get you active, and realize it's an unseen army, unseen hope. God, Christ, is a witness. Going up against the forces of darkness. But we got protection. God gives us armor for protection. Get my teachings. It's dealing with spiritual warfare. armor of God. I'm taught on all. For the young people, the youth. The reason I'm targeting you, a lot of old people get settled in their ways. It's hard to teach old dogs new tricks. Okay, anyway, Psalms 25, 6-8. It'll be the last verse. Yeah, we have an unseen captain, unseen army. Be aware of it. And I've come a long ways. Like I said, I'm a natural skeptic. I'm Mr. Logic. You know, my brain has gotten me in trouble many times. But God's ways, the Bible said, through the foolishness of preaching, men will be saved. So that'll let you know that God goes against our earthly logic. He said the wisdom of this world is foolishness to God. So it took years, but God has finally awakened me to the fact that this unseen world is around me, and I'm conscious of it now. And I'm actually so conscious of it now, I'm like a horse. I used to work with horses. I'm like a horse. I mean, they spook very easily. You know, just so you see a shadow or something move. That's how conscious of it I am now. I done seen so much. Psalm 25. Psalm 25. All right, Psalm 25, 6. Remember, O Lord, thy tender mercies, thy loving kindness, for they have been ever before of old. Remember not the sins of my youth, nor the transgressions according to thy mercy. Remember thou me for thy goodness' sake, O Lord. See what he said for the youth. That's for you. I read that for you. Your youth. Another, I wish it was in Proverbs, but it says, it's in Proverbs somewhere, but it says, remember the Lord in the days of thy youth. While you're young. That's important. And that's why I'm targeting you with this message. There was another verse that I thought I'd throw in, but I'm sorry I didn't look it up. I thought I did. But anyway, this verse was in Psalms, and it talked about the Lord going before us, the one who is mighty in battle. Because it's his war. It's in Psalms, but I can't remember what I didn't mark it, so I thought I could find it for you. But it's the Lord's battle. We're be conscious of it. Like the young man, he opened his eyes and let him see that the Lord is the one that goes to fight our battles before. But you can look it up for yourself. Look up battle. It's the Lord's battle. And we're drafted to be on this battlefield. And there's no neutral. I mean, I want you young men and women that's listening to this message. Because I've said this many, many times. If you're going to be a Christian, be one. Don't join anything without learning what you're joining. I got plenty of teaching now that I'm taught on basic Christianity. You can look it up for yourself. Plenty of messages. All right. This is for the fat cats that have been in the thieving pastures. It's been stealing. If I'm the one that taught you, give, break bread. Talk is cheap. Go to streetpriestministry.org, pay your tithes, first fruits, alabaster box there. Good day, good evening, good night to you around the world. May you grow in faith in Jesus' name.